Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dreams Unlimited Travel Podcast. My name is John Magi, and I'll be your host, and I'm joined by Kevin Close.
Hi, everyone.
And as you can tell, we are not in the studio this week. We're coming to you from the balcony of our stateroom on the beautiful Oasis of the Seas. Kevin.
What?
I was hoping you were going to chime in there and say something.
It is beautiful.
It is beautiful.
We're in Labadee today. We're in Royal Caribbean's private beach. It's on the island of Hispaniola in the country of Haiti, and we are docked today, and it's a beautiful day.
And we want to do with this episode was, in the past, we've talked about life on the ship. We've kind of given you a day-by-day breakdown of the things we've done and places where we've eaten. For this video and this cruise, what we wanted to share with you is more about the ports of call. This is the first cruise, I think, in a very long time that both of us have been off the ship at every port of call. So we wanted to talk to you about our experience, what the ports of call were like, what we did, and what else is available. So this is a cruise that first stopped at St. Maarten, then went to San Juan, and as Kevin said, today we're in Labadee. There are 3 sea days on this cruise, so quite a bit of sea days, but we enjoy those. We didn't mind that at all. So first stop was St. Maarten. And St. Maarten, I would say that St. Maarten in general is a shopping destination.
Definitely.
Most people do some shopping there. There's a whole bunch to do other than shopping. There's a lot of shore excursions. And
dining is popular in St. Maarten beaches.
Yep. And if you wanted to see what's available for your cruise for shore excursions, you go on Royal Caribbean's website, and they've got a whole bunch of information about that. So you can look it up and pick out what you want to do ahead of time. We didn't do any shore excursions. That's not our thing. So we decided to just get off the boat at our leisure and do some shopping. Right when you get off the boat in St. Maarten, what they've done is they've built sort of a shopping district. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, this started out several years ago. I said a couple, it's probably several years now. And it started out with a couple of stores, and it's actually turned into a little village. And where the ship docks in St. Maarten, you have a couple of options to get to the main shopping area, which is called Front Street. And there's a boat that will take you across the water and dock at a marina or a dock over there, or you can take a cab or a shuttle around via the roadway. We decided to just stay at the end of the boat in this little village. There's some dining options, there's a couple of bars, and it's mostly shopping. Jewelry, electronics, there's a Mr. Tablecloth available if that's what you're into. So we spent a couple of hours doing that. After a couple of sea days, it's fun to just get off the boat and be on land for a while.
It is. This is a relatively, not a new area, but a more expanded area, especially since the most recent hurricanes. What happened was a lot of that got wiped out, so they've really improved it and built a lot more stores there. In the past, it was like 1 or 2 little stores, and then you would get on the boat or a taxi over to Front Street for some more shopping. But they've actually built, in a sense, kind of what they've done in Jamaica, which is this little contained shopping area. It feels very safe.
It's specifically for the cruise ships.
Yeah, specifically for the cruise ship.
I would also like to say, if you need accessibility, if accessibility is an issue, this is going to be much more accessible because it's newer than the shops along Front Street, which will have curbs and steps up into them and cobblestones in the street. It's also much more crowded on Front Street. This is more of a wide open plaza kind of thing. And I am sure that there were people who will disagree with me, but there's many choices here. If you're looking for something special, you might have to visit the other part of the town. If you're just looking to browse, I think there's a lot to do here.
I agree. Like you said, we killed a couple hours there. Everything from electronics, cameras, even I saw people buying laptops, which I'm not so sure I would buy a laptop in St. Maarten. I would wait till I got home and bought it, say, BJ's or something. But iPads, iPhones, cameras, tons of jewelry. Kevin mentioned there's a Diamonds International, a lot of shopping for special pieces. And then there's sort of this...
Before you go on, I want to say something. If you're coming to the Caribbean to shop, and you have an idea of what you want, you're going to find the best value if you know the price that you would have to pay at home. If you're looking for a camera, knowing the model and the make you want and what the price is on the mainland, you will know then if you're getting a deal. I would say that's true with jewelry. I am a fan of John Hardy jewelry. I know what that jewelry costs in the United States plus tax. So if you're looking at John Hardy jewelry and you're looking at it here, you can tell that you've saved some money.
Again, tax and duty free, which is always a plus. That adds to your savings. But yeah, Kevin's got a good point. The other thing, too, is we have an international phone plan that gives us data. I was able to do a lot of spot checking and just looking online and seeing, what the price was at home or where I could get it and seeing if I was getting a good deal or not. Everybody here bargains and they barter, so expect that to happen. If you're not comfortable with it, you could pay the full price, but why do that?
Negotiation here is expected.
Yep, you're going to want to negotiate pretty much everywhere, every store in St. Maarten. One of the other things, too, is in addition to the higher-end jewelry stores like Diamonds International and Little Switzerland,
Mar-a-Lago and Little Switzerland and Majesty Jewelers.
There's also a more of a crafty area, more of a local area with vendors who have set up little huts, little tents, and some of them are selling specific items that are handcrafted, or they're selling T-shirts. You can get cheap T-shirts, $5 T-shirts, that type of thing. Dresses, ladies' sort of summery, beachy dresses. Mm-hmm. We found something very cool. I found this person who was selling something I've never seen before. It's the nut. It's the nut of a fruit, and it is dried out and hand carved. And so it was actually kind of neat to find something so different and so unique. And so we bought one of those. Sort of stimulated the economy. But there's a lot to buy here. There's not.
The other nice thing is if you need some sort of, we call them health and beauty aids, you can get them here. There's a drugstore kind of store that also sells souvenirs. But if you were looking for Advil or Tylenol, this is the place you can pick that up if you forgot it or ran out.
Right. Nice thing is the boat pulls right up to the dock. There's no tendering, so you don't have to worry about getting on a tender boat. You can walk right off the ship, right to these shops and get going. And again, if you wanted to and you wanted to go into town towards Front Street, then you would have to take a boat, which is $7 round trip. And
that's good for the entire day.
Which is good for the day, right? So you just show them their wristlet or whatever they give you. And then, or you can do a taxi, and the taxis will depend on where you want to go.
And how many people you were carrying.
Right. One piece of advice is always negotiate up front with the taxi driver as to how much you're going to pay.
Sure.
Don't let it be a surprise and get there and them say, okay, it's $20. You should say, listen, we want to go to this place. There's 5 of us. How much will it be? And then that'll set the price. The other thing I want to mention too is since after the hurricane and it's been built up and been, I guess Kevin said, handicapped accessible, there's also very nice restrooms, very nice facilities. So it's all very sort of clean and sanitary for your protection. So I would not be afraid to get off the boat and, explore around and have fun. You laugh because I said sanitary bathrooms?
Sanitized for your protection.
Sanitized for your protection. Anything else about St. Maarten?
No, it's a tropical island. And I understand that while we're filming this, the Northeast is getting hit with extremely cold weather and snow and high winds, and we are sitting in a tropical paradise. So we're thinking about you, and we wish you were here to join us. So
excellent.
Sounded like I wrapped things up, didn't it?
It did sound like you wrapped things up, and also it's, we don't know when this is going to show, so hopefully by then that storm will be past and everybody will be safe.
Well, now you know when we're recording it.
Right. All right, moving on to our next day was San Juan. I was very, very, very interested to go to San Juan, especially after the hurricane and reports of power outages and a lot of damage. I wanted to see what it was like. I wanted to also be able to help folks who were coming on a cruise where they were staying or visiting San Juan to give them some advice. Our experience in San Juan was wonderful. I was actually blown away how much fun we had there. Again, we did not do a shore excursion or any kind of trip. Those are available through the ship. You can go to Royal Caribbean's website, look those up, plan ahead. We just got off the ship and just walked around and shopped and had a good time.
We didn't even go in the store. We shopped street vendors.
Street vendors.
If you are looking for a fake designer bag, This is the place.
Yeah, be forewarned. There's a lot of that. Every other booth is someone selling fake designer bags. There was some jewelry, some nice stuff. I would question whether or not it was all real or not. You got
A lot of branded merchandise, a lot of things that said Puerto Rico or San Juan on them.
yeah, buyer beware, I think, for a lot of
touristy
stuff.
There were a lot of local artisans. We spent a couple of minutes talking to a man who he drew paintings on clay and then fired them. They were ceramic, about the size of a salad plate. And it was fascinating to talk to him. He just got electricity back recently and talked of standing in 14-hour lines for milk and water. And the worst was waiting in line for gas. People would spend the day and the night in their car waiting to get gasoline. So it was an interesting perspective, and sometimes things that we don't know or see. I mean, we hear it on the news, but talking to someone who's living it firsthand. So it was great fun. It was a way to, get to talk to people.
Yep. There is a shopping area in San Juan that is similar to St. Maarten, and that it's high-end, Diamonds International, those type of things. That would be quite a bit of a walk from the boat. But if you're not looking for that, I would suggest just get off the boat. When you get off the boat, there's plenty of places to stop and look around and see what people have to offer. I'm more interested in sort of the local crafts stuff, so that was very interesting for me to find people who were selling that. But if you really wanted to go to someplace else, like some places selling diamonds or watches or jewelry, it was a 5-minute cab ride.
However, in the middle of all this was a Ralph Lauren outlet, so it's
Right.
not, all crafts.
Right. I mean, there's plenty of shopping and plenty to do.
Also, there's a CVS right there when you get off the ship. So, again, if you're looking for a drugstore, this is the place.
If you've got sunblock or, something like that, it's a great, convenient place to stop. Again, the boat pulls up to the dock. You step off the boat. You walk to the end of the pier, and you're right there. There's no tendering. It's not a hassle.
We stopped at a nice cafe and had some cold drinks. It was very warm in San Juan.
It was.
And we had some Diet Cokes and sat out on the street in the shade and watched the people go by. It was an enjoyable way to spend the morning.
I would also say this: once you get off the boat, you're going to be sort of bombarded with folks who want to take you on tours. They're going to want to show you island tours and visit the fort and things like that. Certainly something you can do. I don't think these folks are disreputable in the least, but I think that if you want to do that, that's something probably better spent doing through the ship and arranging a shore excursion that way, rather than taking your chance with someone who has a van and wants to take you to
I always think of
sites.
what the one person told me, that if there was an issue with your excursion and it was late getting back to the ship, if it's a Royal Caribbean excursion, they wait for you.
Agreed. The nice thing was seeing that San Juan was very much put back together, and put back together well. It looked like everything was shiny and new, and there was a lot of well-constructed buildings, and looks like they had bounced back nicely. That was nice to see.
You could still
Except-
see little bits
yeah.
of damage.
I was going to mention that there was one building, I'll show a picture of that was sort of this in the middle of this nice area, was a reminder that they had quite a bit of damage, and it was probably scary for them at some point.
And then also, while we were on the island, we couldn't figure out why a lot of the restaurants and shops had closed down, and we couldn't figure out if it was a midday siesta nap closing time. But when we got back on the ship, the captain made the announcement that a good deal of San Juan had a power failure. They were working on the power grid, and most of San Juan was without power yesterday. Well, it didn't affect us. We were kind of done by that time. It did affect a whole bunch of people.
Right? So it just goes to show that they are still precarious, that things aren't 100% back to normal. So be forewarned about that. But again, it was a great day. I had a lot of fun, more than I thought. I had expected we'd get off, we'll walk around, we'll see what's available, and so we can report back. But it was a lot of fun that day.
We had a good time.
And finally, the last stop where we're recording from right now is Labadee, and that's Royal Caribbean's quote-unquote private island. It's not necessarily their own island.
It's not an island.
It's not an island. It's
on an island.
That's right. You want to explain it?
Labadee is a point off the country of Haiti. It's kind of isolated. There's not a lot of, there's a mountain area between this area and the rest of Haiti. And Royal Caribbean refers to it as their private island. It's really more of a private beach area. It is on the island of Hispaniola. Hispaniola is divided between Haiti and the Dominican Republic. And while you're here, while you are part of an island, it's not like Castaway Cay, which is a smaller island. You're part of a much bigger island. However, I haven't been here at Labadee. We've always bypassed this stop and just kind of hung out on the ship. We got off this morning and had a great time. I cannot get over how much Labadee has grown. The infrastructure, the extra buildings, there's more restrooms, there's more paved walkways, making things much more accessible for folks on scooters or crutches or canes, whatever. They've opened up more area of the beach. And we were just going to get out and walk around and visit the vendors and come back on the ship and take some pictures. We ended up hanging out and having lunch. We were glad we stayed out and we sat in a real shady spot and chairs were comfortable. That is my review of the lunch. But
Right. What happens is that we're staying in a suite. We're staying in an owner's suite. And because of that, we have concierge service. And we are allowed to go to the Concierge Beach area, which is a little bit private. Not 100% private because other people can actually see it. And they have cabanas. I wanted to see what the cabanas look like. So we took a little jaunt out there. There's a golf cart. Gentleman driving a golf cart that will take concierge guests out to this beach so you don't have to walk it. And they had cabanas. We looked at the cabanas. I'll show you some pictures of those. I wanted to compare those to the ones on Castaway Cay at Disney. There's no comparison. These are pretty much just a little structure with a couch inside them and a ceiling fan. They look nice, and if you wanted to do it, it was nice, but it was not something I would do. So we did that, and we checked out the beach, and we took some pictures, and while we were there, they were setting up the lunch. And it smelled really good. I took pictures of the food, and we thought, well, you know what? Let's stick around for lunch. It was not good.
as I said, our seats were in the shade and it was beautiful.
Right.
I want to go back to the tram. We took a golf cart. However, there are also much larger trams being pulled by tractors. I'm guessing they hold 20 or 30 people each, and they will take you the entire length of the open area. And there are signs everywhere, and there's great direction, but it's quite a walk from one end to the other, and if that's what you want to do. At the end of the day, when you're hot and sweaty and covered with sand, I'm thinking this tram is going to be a lifesaver.
Yep. Really nice. They have multiple stops along the way. Mm-hmm. So if you want to stop at the beach, a barefoot beach, and get off there and swim and get a chair and hang out, and then you wanted to go down to the shopping area, you can hop back on and do that, or take it back to the boat, whatever you wanted to do. This was a really nice addition since we've been here. I also want to point out, too, I said this for every stop, again, you pull right up to the dock, you get off the boat, you walk down a short pier, and you're then all of a sudden in Labadee, and then the transportation is available to you. So since the last time we've been here, I am thoroughly impressed with what they've done with Labadee. I think it's beautiful. I think it's well thought out.
As you can hear, there's a jet ski, I think, going behind us. There's a lot of activities, and we talked about going to the Concierge Beach. And I think the only thing I would say that's a plus to the Concierge Beach was that there were cushions on the chaise lounges, and that there was more waiters to bring you drinks if you want. Looking at the other beaches as we went by, they're all equally beautiful.
Yeah. One of the things I want to point out is the Concierge Beach is on the bay side, and the other beaches are on the ocean side. So they had more waves. If you're into swimming in more of a rough sea ocean, that's a consideration. The bay was a little bit less rough, I guess is how you'd put it.
And you will pretty much know the people that are working for you on Labadee because they came on the ship with you. These are the people who were your servers and stateroom attendants and things like that when you were on the ship. So it was interesting to see people in a different area.
I agree. A couple of other things too. Again, I've mentioned this for the other ports of call. A lot of other activity that you can do. Again, shore excursions. You want to check out Royal Caribbean's website. Everything from, fishing and boat tours around the island to jet skis and all sorts of water fun. So if that's what you're into, that's great.
If you are not a beach person, I would tell you, don't miss this. Get out and look around. There's a lot to see and a lot to do.
Yeah.
That does not require you to lay on a beach. We're not beach people, but it was fun. We spent several hours off the ship this morning and exploring, and it was nice to see all the new stuff. The people here that are vendors are aggressive.
Right.
Just say no.
We talk about the fact that there's a shopping area. We went to the shopping area, and it feels to me like locals selling their wares, or this is their way of making money. This is not ship-sponsored merchandise, like when you're on a Disney cruise and you stop at Seashells. There's those Disney's merchandise. These are folks who have come here to sell their stuff, and as Kevin mentioned, they can be aggressive and they'll want to pull you in and say, come in, I have something for you.
However, you get to see some really neat crafts and some really beautiful stuff. And again, they expect you to negotiate.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I asked how much one thing was, and his first response was, how much do you want to pay for it? He told me the price, and I said, okay, let me think a minute. And he said, how much do you want to pay? So that he's encouraging you to negotiate.
Right. So, and if you're not worried about that or intimidated about it, with that, that's perfectly fun. That's something you can do. But if that's not what you're into, just walk away and say no and go enjoy the rest of the beach area. Again, haven't been here. Some really interesting touches that they've done. I've got some pictures of, they've taken boats and they've made outdoor furniture out of, I guess, what would be a rowboat or a sailboat.
It's bigger than a rowboat, and what they've done is they've hollowed part of it out and made these huge loungers. I mean, I'm very tall, and I would easily have been able to lay down in one. I actually said to John, I found what I want to buy.
Right,
I don't know how I'll get it home, but I would love one of these in our backyard.
For our pool. Also want to point out that there's a child's splash play area. Really
That
cute.
was really cute.
Yeah.
I was envious.
Yeah.
They looked like they were having a good time.
They're tied to the DreamWorks franchise, so there was sort of DreamWorks characters in the splash area, not characters, but statues and theming. So that was really neat to see. And again, overall impressed with the amount of work they've done to improve this area since the hurricanes hit it, because it was devastated.
This is always compared to Castaway Cay. And in my mind, Castaway Cay is the gold standard because it's been Disney-fied. I would say this has become much closer to a Castaway Cay experience, much closer to a Castaway Cay experience than it used to be. You're still going to see differences. You're still going to miss the Disney touch, but this is nothing to sneeze at. This is a nice area, and if you're looking for a beach day during your cruise, this is awesome.
I agree. So, again, not something we normally do. We don't usually get off the ship at the ports of call. We thought this trip would be different, and we were not disappointed at all. We had a great time every day, had a lot of fun, found stuff to buy. We purchased items. It was not, I don't think it was a waste of time to get off the ship.
I also think we took this cruise because it was a weird Eastern.
Yes.
Usually when you go to St. Martin, you go to St. John or St. Thomas and St. Martin. This went to St. Martin in Puerto Rico, San Juan. So it was kind of an unusual itinerary,
Right.
and we're happy we did it.
The other thing I want to add is that our stay in San Juan was surprisingly short. Ship docked about 7:30 in the morning, and then back on the boat was 1:30 for guests. So, unless you're willing to get up at the crack of dawn and get out, you have a leisurely breakfast, and you only have a couple hours in San Juan.
However, today we were here from 10 or 9:30 till 4:30, so it's a longer day here in Labadee. See, I got a Labadee hat.
It does, and I hope you can see it in the background behind us. The water is beautiful. It's an absolute gorgeous place to be.
Clear turquoise blue.
Yeah. If you're a beach person, this is it. You want to come here. Anything else we should add before we break?
No, but we love the Oasis of the Seas. You
do.
should give it a try.
We had a great time. We're having a great cruise. We have one more day at sea. So we're going to go and relax and enjoy that. And we hope you have a great week. We hope you have a great vacation, because we're certainly having a great vacation.
Wish you were here.